good. Right.
All stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In compliance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, laws of 1975 of the state of New Jersey, adequate of this meeting of the Southborough Board of Education was provided in the following manner. On July the 20th, 2018, the notice was hand delivered to the office of the following newspapers, Home News and Tribune, and also on July the 10th of 2018, notice was delivered to the office of the Southborough Borough Clerk and posted at the Board of Education Administration Building. At that date, the notice was also posted several at the Southborough Borough Clerk's office. Roll call.
Mr. Andre?
Here.
Mr. Bezak?
Here.
Mrs. Beck?
Here.
Mrs. Bush?
Here.
Mrs. Cruz?
Here.
Mr. Nielsen?
Here.
Mr. Rosanna?
Here.
Mrs. Urbanek?
Here.
Mr. Waluda?
Here.
Ms. Cassiano?
All board members have copies of the minutes of July 27th, April 26th, May 24th, June 25th, and June 28th. Anyone have any problems? Your motion for the...
Motion to move the minutes?
Second.
Mrs. Cruz, second by Mrs. Nielsen. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Use of facilities.
There are 3 items on the agenda. Project Graduation 2019, Frost on the Pumpkin, and the South River Police Department.
Board member, your pleasure.
Move the use of facilities in accordance with board policies.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Mr.
Mr.
Does anyone have
Rosanna?
questions?
I'd just like to abstain from 1157.
Okay, so noted. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Financial report.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby certifies that it is in receipt of the financial report which indicates that no major account has been overexpended and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year. The Finance Committee recommends that the reports of the Board Secretary and the Treasurer of School Monies for May 2018 be approved, and I so move.
Motion by Mrs. Swift.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nielsen. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Superintendent's report. Mrs. Zutcher.
Thank you, Mr. Waluda. I have 2 items today. The first, I'd like to ask Marianne Friedman to please come up as she has an award presentation for us.
Good evening, everybody. On June 2nd, 2018, the New Jersey State Governor's Jefferson Award was presented to New Jersey school board members across the state in recognition of their extraordinary service to their communities. The ceremony was held at the War Memorial in Trenton, and Dan Sinclair, who's our president of the New Jersey School Boards Association, and Dr. Feinsod, who's our executive director, were there to accept the award. And while I can't bring you the actual award, I did bring you a color copy of what the what the award looks like. And it is very impressive. And this is really to honor the honorees achieve measurable community impact and represent outstanding acts of public service without the expectation of recognition or compensation. Recipients demonstrate unique vision, dedication, and tenacity of heroic proportion and serve as inspiration for others. The New Jersey School Board members were nominated by Christy Tighe, who is Vice President for County Activities at New Jersey School Boards. Jefferson Awards were established in 1972 as the official recognition program of the United States Senate. They're considered America's highest honor for public service and volunteerism, and each year the New Jersey State Governor's Jefferson Awards highlight the spirit of civic engagement among New Jersey's 1.5 million volunteers and provide Jefferson Award medals in 22 categories of volunteer service. And this year, New Jersey School Boards of Education were one of them. So congratulations to everybody. If you're in Trenton, stop by, see the plaque. It really is very impressive. And hopefully this will suffice. Oh, that's a blank piece of paper. Hopefully this will suffice in the meantime. Okay, so congratulations and thank you for all you do for all of your students.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So congratulations again to our board. I can't say enough how much I know you contribute your time, your energy, and just your overall involvement in our schools. So, well-deserved award. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Ann, for presenting that. Our second item today under the superintendent's report is I would like to call Mr. Ray Dorso, our Director of Special Education and Student Services. One of the items on our agenda this evening is the approval of our new high school alternative program. And Mr. Dorso, in a few moments, is going to come up and give you a little bit more of an overview of what that program will look like, and include for you also what the experience might look like for specific students attending the program. Okay, Mr. Dorso?
I'll just go through, I'm going to focus on the flexible program hours section of it, because I understand there may be some questions related to that. And then if you have any other general questions, just feel free to ask after we go through that. All right, so basically the program is structured to really meet the needs of a wide range of at-risk students. Some of the students may have family issues, attendance issues, mental health issues, or a combination of everything that you see there. Retention and going through dropout rates and these kind of things is a significant issue for us here in South River. So just a couple hypothetical. These are not based on actual students, but a lot of the issues that you see highlighted on the slide are very similar to some of the students that we have projected to go into the program. So student 1 would potentially be a candidate for a Block 3 option, which starts at 1125 and goes to 325. So let's just say hypothetically 10th grade student earned 0 credits last year. We have kids in that category right now as we speak, at risk of dropping out, absent 60 times. We have kids that have actually been absent more than 60 times in a school year. This is currently going on. Interest in carpentry, was actually like an AB student in woodshop last school year. So for this particular kid, he may want to come in for an elective Block 3, financial literacy maybe half a year, and then the woodshop class. Block 4, he could do environmental science and math. We actually have teachers designated during the school day for the alternative program. And then after that, then he can do the remaining core classes from 215 to 325. That's just one example. An example of a Block 4 option. Let's say 12th grade student, significant history of academic struggles, interest in music, has failed, he's actually still needs 2 science classes and 2 ELA classes to graduate. And again, based on, a very common occurrence that we have in South River High School, and it's a common occurrence across the state as well. So Block 4, hypothetically, come in and do the alternative education science class and then maybe a band elective, or go to the Guitar Center and do a structured learning experience, which is a new program that we're getting approved and we're excited about. So that particular student could actually go to Guitar Center and earn high school credit to graduate in doing something that he enjoys. The required core classes would go from 215 to 4, and then he could actually stay another hour and make up the other ELA class. So really the design is to really provide students with flexibility to meet their own individual needs. Student 3, 215 to 630. Pretty common profile here: anxiety disorder, depression, 11th grade student, special education, absent 32 times, all related to the mental health issues, tardy 48 times. Has the ability, avid reader, high average IQ. This is your kind of learner that has no interest in being in the main part of the building. So potentially he can do an SLE from 1 to 215, And then from 2:15 to 6:30, come in and do all the academics. All right? So that's just the flexibility part of the program. It's really designed, every high school across the state is going to have at-risk learners that don't fit into the typical building profile or learning in that typical instruction. Where we're currently at, we actually have 18 kids identified, 10 special ed and 8 general ed, that we feel would be a good fit for the program. Any general questions?
Mr. Dorso?
Yes.
Who determines which students will be invited into the program?
For the special education students, it will be an IEP team decision.
Okay, good.
For gen ed students, it could be a referral from a guidance counselor or building level administration. So hypothetically, students fail and guidance counselor sees that, he's like maybe this kid before he was classified, just not your typical high school kid, but maybe would thrive in an alternative program, so we could get a referral from guidance or building administration.
And the determining administrator to you or Mrs. Zurcher?
Well, I think it would probably be a combination between Mr. Sherman and myself. We'd probably have a little committee. And then for kids that are in general education, they will not have an IEP because they're not a classified student. They'll have something called an IPP, which is basically a watered down version.
Oh.
It's like a 3 or 4 page document that maps out their needs.
Oh, great. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And one last question is, who is Mr. Sherman the principal of the alternative school?
Well, the program has designated a full entire staff, including a full-time counselor, a full-time nurse, and there'll be a separate designee to supervise the program also.
Great. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I have a question. We have a lot of students in the high school level who are responsible for their younger siblings. Both parents have to be at work very early, and we've had, I know, discussions regarding them being consistently late to school, always missing that first period because they were standing outside of a primary or elementary school waiting for that to open to drop off younger siblings. And also students who their family needs that third income and the children are working evening hours until like 1, 2 a.m. in the morning and oversleeping getting to school. Is this something that they may be targeted for as well?
I can answer that
Sure.
actually, because we've had a lot of conversation about those kids, and we have a large group of them. And they don't necessarily fit the other criteria to be appropriate for the alternative school. What we've talked about is doing an alternate schedule and giving them some opportunities to also do some online coursework
Okay.
in order to have the full extension of all the courses that they need in a shortened period. So we've talked about that outside of this.
Okay.
For some students, they might fall into that category as well as have some of the criteria
Additional.
for the alternative. But for the others, we've been talking about alternate schedule.
I know we had discussed a little bit about, and I don't know how much has gone on behind the scenes as well. We have our early release, having a late start for those students. They're actually benefiting from coming in a period late and being able to stay the full day, as opposed to the kids who have the early release and leave a little early.
Right.
Okay.
And we've been looking at that. The situation that we've run into is the number of classes that those students tend to need in order to be able to graduate.
Yep.
They're not usually, they don't usually have more credits than they need, they usually have less.
Yes.
And so we're really looking at our credit recovery this summer to see how effective we are with that online system, to see if that's a viable possibility.
Okay, thank you.
Ray, I have a question for you. Will the alternative school have a different county district school code with a different high school diploma? So that maybe students who could leave South River High School transfer into the alternative school to assist with the graduation rate?
I would say that there wouldn't be any difference related to our own students. A little bit related to what you're speaking about, we would be able to take in tuition students
Okay.
from other districts, but it would be our current district and county code. Everything would be South River diploma, but we could potentially take in tuition students, and I think that extra flexibility that we can offer in the program, starting in Block 3, going, all the way up to 630, I'd be fairly confident that we'll get some interest in neighboring districts.
Okay.
Just a note on that, though, I actually had a conversation with Mr. Sherman today, and based on the number of kids that we currently have projected for the program, the class, you can only have 12 kids in a class for this program. But however, if we were able to get a couple tuition kids, then we could expand the program and have more course offerings to make it more dynamic.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Fisher?
And so concludes my superintendent's report for this month. Thank you.
I have a question, a
Yes.
couple of questions. I
Yes.
noticed in the middle school report, Mrs. Wargo,
Mhm.
the total number of tardies in
Mhm.
June 2018 was 265. June 2017 was 170, and 2016 was 173. And in Mr. Sherman's report, grade, well, they're all high. June 2018, ninth grade was 168, last year was 68. 10th grade, 175, last year was 92. 11th grade, this year is 156, last year was 103, year before that was 50. And grade 12, 108, last year was 88 in June, and June of 2016 was 24. Now, this just sent up a red flag for me. So, this could be one kid, but I wouldn't think it's one kid in each grade, is that? So, do you know what's causing this, and what are we doing to remedy this?
There's been several factors that we've looked into regarding tardies, and each school has its own set of circumstances that contribute to that number. I think that it is a number that all of our administrators have been tracking, and we're doing a more, we have a more structured format for tracking those tardies and maintaining that data. So some of those increases could be due to the fact that we're doing a lot more to track the absenteeism and tardies in the first place. But again, what we're in the process of right now is because we are using those measures to track, that now we have data that we can analyze further. Each school was asked by me to put in place an attendance committee that would review case by case and figure out what patterns we see and why students overall are absent or tardy. So those committees have been doing some of that work and are going to be reporting some of that information out. So we're starting with what trends do we find, what patterns do we find that we can address overall, and then how we handle unique situations as they come to us. But it's one of the reasons why we're doing things like an alternative program, while we're looking at not an early release opportunity, but a late arrival opportunity. Because a lot of the situations that are coming up as we're tracking the data are based on family circumstance and not things that can necessarily be helped.
Yeah, some things are out of our control. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Anyone else? Not, do I hear a motion to accept the report?
Nielsen?
First by Mr. Nielsen, second by Mr. Bush. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. A little bit of housekeeping. You're not going to have the sub-resolution after the report of each one of the committees. Saying that since we do not have a pre-meeting, we will have the public comments on the items on the agenda at the end of each committee member, or at the end of all the committee report. So we'll have an open meeting to the public. Then we would have the certification at the end of all the committees.
Okay.
Okay? And also, the board will be going into closed session at the end, or just before the close of our meeting. And I don't believe there's any action to be taken. It's just going into closed session at the end of the meeting. Saying that, let's go to the committee reports of the athletic committee.
And I'm sure we all have a copy of the report from that we have. Just little things to note, Coach Lepore's got the baseball team playing in the Greater Middlesex Summer Baseball League. They're doing well. And then Coach Minto has the girls soccer team also participating in the Jersey United 7x7 Summer League. And then 3 of our cheerleaders, Caroline Cruz, Sophia Di Giovanni, and Jayla Jackson, as well as 2 football players, Kyle Bazak and Travis Thomas, represented South River in the Stopper Bowl. So that concludes my report.
Anyone else?
Can I add to that a little?
Yeah.
Just for anyone in the high school level, physicals are due in August 4th, I believe. And
The physician will be here on August 6th.
yeah, they have to be there prior to him getting there. God bless
Thank
you.
you, thank
And
you.
then the boys basketball team for the high school also has a summer league going on. They finished the regular summer session 8-0, and they just won their 2 playoff games, so they play for the championship on Monday.
Oh, nice.
And if I may add, Mrs. Peck, the boys' baseball team, to get to the semifinals, which they achieved, had to beat schools that are much larger than we are. We're Group 1. We played Group 3 and Group 4 schools in that tournament, and we won until we got to the semifinals, and we lost that last game. But against those high odds, our guys made it to the semifinals in that tournament. So I want to congratulate Coach Lepore and the team.
Congratulations.
Anyone else? No? Closes the grounds, Mrs. Zerback?
Thank you, Mr. President. All board members do have a copy of the report from the Supervisor of Buildings and Grounds. While summer vacation may mean going away for a lot of people, it's actually a very busy time around the school, getting ready for the next school year. That starts the day after graduation. I think many of you noticed in the hallways here, the tables and the desks were out of the classrooms, so we're getting those ready, and that's just one hallway in one school. So there's a lot of work to be done, and it will get done. On another matter, we did have a Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting earlier this evening, and just one item of note is we are going to be moving forward very soon on providing secured vestibules, entrances at each building in order to address all of the security concerns that have come to the forefront this past year at schools. So I know that that is on the horizon. The board is taking proactive measures in this regard. So if there are no other questions from the Buildings and Grounds Committee or any other board members, that completes my report. Thank you.
Mrs. Cruz, finally?
We have 23 items this evening. 1, approve, submit, accept Elementary and Secondary Education Act, ESEA, application and salary chart, fiscal year 2019. 2, approve, submit, accept Americans Career and Technical Education Act of 2006 grant, application fiscal year 2019. 3, approve, submit New Jersey Child Assault Prevention 2018-19 grant application, K-5 CAPS Bullying Prevention Program. 4, approve transfer from Fund 31 Capital Projects to Fund 40 Debt Service 2015 School Bond Referendum. 5, accept 2018-19 non-public entitlements. 6, approve, accept 2017-18 school year out-of-district placement, Riverside Township Board of Education. 7, accept Educational Services Commission of New Jersey Master Collaborative Service Rates 2018-19 school year. 8, approve plan document revised employer contributions to 403B plans / various bargaining units. 9, approve contract bid number ESC NJ 18-19-11 extension Delta T Group North Jersey Inc. substitute nursing service provider 2018-19 school year. 10, approve award contract behavioral consultation LLC, independent psychiatric evaluation service provider 2018-19 school year. 11, approve contract Christine Mata, Arabic bilingual speech evaluation service provider 2018-19 school year. 12, approve a contract New Jersey Specialized Child Study Team evaluations for hearing impaired 2018-19 school year. 13, approve contract Polish bilingual, Portuguese bilingual social history evaluation service provider 2018-19 school year. 14, approve contract Rosa T. Tomas, Portuguese bilingual psychological evaluation service provider 2018-19 school year. 15, approve contract Selena Ruvo Matos, Portuguese bilingual educational evaluation service provider 2018-19 school year. 16, approve contract New Jersey Educational Services Alliance Arabic bilingual evaluation service provider 2018-19 school year. 17, approved tuition contract preschool program 2018-19 school year. 18, approve award contract Pediatric Center of Somerset LLC school position 2018-19 school year. 19, approve contract Wilson Language Training Corporation workshop service provider 2018-19 school year. 20, approve tax requisition. 21, approve line item transfers. 22, approve requisition list. 23, approve contract Linkit Data Warehousing Assessment and Analytics Service Provider 2018-19 school year. Any questions?
Instructions, Mr. Rosanna?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 3 items tonight. Number 1, approve professional development and travel expenses 2018-2019 school year. Number 2, approve out-of-district placements 2018-2019 school year. And number 3, approve educational program 21st Century Career and Alternative Program. And I believe that's what Mr. Dorso was explaining before. That's all I have.
Policy, Mrs. Bush?
We have nothing on the agenda this evening. I just wanted to bring up, though, I was actually on the Strauss Esme website this morning because I'll be going tomorrow to David Nash down at NJPSA. And HIV, harassment, intimidation, and bullying, and the suicide prevention have mandatory updates that happen in July. So we probably should take a look at those because they should be in effect for September. Okay, that's it.
Okay, Human Resources, Mr. Knudsen?
Thank you. We have 17 items tonight, sir. 1, approve rescind Teresa Swesta, Media Specialist 2018-19 school year. 2, approve appoint Jamie Lynch, High School Biology Teacher 2018-2019 school year. 3, approve additional special education extended school year volunteer summer 2018. 4, approve additional special education extended school year related services staff summer 2018. 5, approve curriculum writing staff 2018-2019 school year. 6, approve Suzanne Owens, parent workshop services. 7, approve intermittent family leave Jennifer Maya, kindergarten teacher. 8, approve disability leave Christine Brasno, high school secretary. 9, approve disability family leave Patricia Tersey, middle school teacher. 10, approve lunch aid, substitute lunch aids 2018-19 school year. 11, approve special education related services staff 2018-2019 school year. 12, approve Matthew Crouch professional development compensation. 13, approve appoint Patrick Holes Jr., custodian fieldsman 2018-2019 school year. 14, approve transfer Donna Connor from primary school teacher to elementary school teacher. 15, approve transfer Michelle Nigro from elementary school secretary to middle school secretary. 16, approve transfer Deborah Szymanski from middle school secretary to elementary school secretary. 17, approve Anthony Porcia, psychologist, summer 2018. That's it, sir.
Anybody have anything? No?
Right?
Yes.
Negotiations?
Yeah.
Yeah. Negotiations, Dan?
Sure, that's an easy one. Nothing's active right now. We'll be starting with the SREA in the fall.
Actually, this coming year, we'll be starting again negotiations
Yeah.
with the SREA.
Right, in the fall.
Okay. And then, thank you, Mr. Andre.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I have 3 on the agenda.
Number 1, approve route number Q75 to the Cambridge School Educational Service Commission of New Jersey, extended school year for 2018. Number 2, approve route number Q85 to Academy Learning Center, Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, extended school year 2018. And number 3, approve route number Q88 to New View Academy Annex, Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, extended school year 2018.
Anybody, anything to add?
Reggie, when we go to vote, I'll be abstaining from number 1.
Fine.
Okay.
And then get the community affairs. Please.
Nothing at this time.
We'll open the meeting to the public for any comments or questions. Comments or questions, limited to 10 minutes. We're only taking on the agenda items. Anyone from the agenda? From the public? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion and continue with the latest.
The South River Board of Education, by means of a consent resolution, adopt various resolutions of a routine and non-controversial nature at one time. And whereas the below listed resolutions are hereby adopted by said Board of Education in whole, as if the same were individually acted upon under finance items 1 through 23, instructions items 1 through 3, human resources items 1 through 7. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, right.
17.
17. That's because I can't read my own writing. 17. That's why I didn't think right. And safety and risk items 1, 2, and 3.
Any board members your pleasure?
Move the resolution.
The exception for the
Correct.
Move the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Zano.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bush. Roll call.
Mr. Andre?
Yes.
Mr. Bezak?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mrs. Bush?
Yes.
And,
Abstaining from number 1 under safety and risk management.
thank you. Mrs. Cruz?
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen?
Yes.
Mr. Rosanna?
Yes.
Mrs. Urbanek?
Yes.
Mr. Wailuda?
Yes, motion so carried. Now our liaison to the Bureau, Mrs. Cruz.
I have no update for tonight.
PTA, Mr. Beck.
Yes, next month I'll have all the, probably announcing all the September meeting dates. I did have one president reach out to me today, Shanetta from the high school. So since, just asked me to read this, since homecoming is early this year, the PTSA 2018 homecoming protocol proposal has already been presented to and approved by Mr. Sherman. It highlights electronic instruction and student contracts, modified ticket sale times and locations, a large venue, and in turn, more chaperones. And that was it. So concludes my report.
Community Public Library, Mr. Bezak.
Nothing at this time.
Community Educational Foundations.
I too spoke with Shanetta, and I just wanted to give everybody an update as far as what's happening in that realm. Just so everybody knows, their annual fundraiser, the Apple of My Eye, or F Your Eye, will be sold for $5 each at all the back-to-school nights again. That was their very first fundraiser. That's going to start on August 27th, actually, and it's going to end on September 3rd. And then she usually does a very nice presentation to the recipients. She said more information to come, but please save the date for Sunday, October 28th. That is the Harlem Wizards Part 2. The next meeting, though, will be still at the South River Library, Tuesday, August 21st, 7 p.m. And that's all I have.
Anyone else have anything? And Dan, you report?
Yes, I actually have an attorney report today.
No close.
Okay, so due to some technical difficulties at the June meeting, I'm going to try to again make some clarifications on the comments made by local officials in newspapers and in newsletters regarding the budget and the Borough Council's choice to amend its budget. First, the Board of Ed did not simply ask the borough for money. In fact, after the terrible school shooting events nationwide over the past several months, this district asked this borough to do what so many town and school districts throughout Middlesex County, New Jersey, and the country have done. You asked to enter into a shared services agreement for security personnel. During a council liaison meeting in March, the chief of police provided members of the board, members of the council, and members of the public with a list of towns in Middlesex County that engage in such a shared services agreement. When we talk about school safety and security, this is the perfect example of a shared services model. Keeping the children of South River safe is maybe the easiest area in which we can say that the Board of Ed and the borough have a common goal and should be working together. Thousands of municipalities across the country have done exactly this. This is not to say that funding this important project is easy. In order to fund half this initiative, the board and superintendent reprioritized its existing 18-19 budget to fund half the costs of a police presence at the schools. The board did not need to and did not increase its budget at all to do this. The superintendent then sent a written request to the Borough Council to do the same. The council was not asked to add to its existing budget as initially created in March, but to reprioritize its budget allocations, just like the Board of Education successfully did, to fund its half the cost of a shared services agreement. Certainly, it was the school district's expectation that the borough would reallocate money within its existing budget, as the board did, but the borough chose to do it another way. The council chose to add $80,000 to its amended budget in May, rather than find money within its existing budget. They did it their way, and that was their option. There was some confusion as to what this meant, and some citizens were given the wrong impression that the addition of 2 police officers for school safety increased the entire municipal budget by a full percentage point. That is simply not accurate. In fact, the council's choice to add $80,000 increased the total budget of $17.8 million by less than 0.5%. However, because that money was added and not reallocated within the budget, the effect on the local tax levy, which is only about half the borough's budget, or $9.5 million, was a 0.9% increase. Last, there have been some claims that the school district provided the borough with, quote, late notification of the request for shared services. In fact, the district has included the police department and the council in the discussions of increased school security since immediately after the Parkland shooting in mid-February. In fact, the chief and other borough representatives were at both the board's meetings in February to discuss this specific issue. Before February, an increased police presence at the schools for this year or next year was not a local or nationwide priority. However, given the facts that there have been 29 school shooting incidents of various degrees in 2018 alone, thousands of towns and school districts across the country have recognized the need to work together through a shared services model to make safe schools even safer. This has been the Board of Education and Superintendent's only goal throughout this matter. In closing, as of July 9th, our office has provided the borough with a draft shared services agreement, revised to include the special 3 officers. We understand that the borough is still reviewing it and will get back to us shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
That's it. Oh, excuse me. You don't have any comments? No, we will continue. Anything else?
Nothing further.
Anything else?
Not this time.
And our student rep? Thank you.
I'd like to welcome you.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
To the board. Congratulations.
I'm Victoria Cassiano. I'm going to be a junior in South River High School. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you.
Yeah, congratulations. Good luck to you.
Have you had a meeting with the superintendent yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay. And this is the place, always check with the superintendent first, just to make sure, but this is the place, it's yours. And you can tell us whatever you like or ask us whatever you like. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay? And be comfortable. Is there any older new business coming before the board?
Mr. Wailuda, if I may?
Yes.
Again, because of sound problems last month, I just want to repeat a few things I said then. I did attend both the South River High School graduation and the 8th grade moving up ceremony, and I want to congratulate all those who moved up and graduated. And I also want to give kudos to our high school class advisor, senior class advisor, and our 8th grade team leader, team coordinators. They did a great job in getting everything to work like clockwork. I also want to praise Mr. McDowell, our high school music teacher, band director, chorus director, who had an outstanding program with outstanding performances by the kids under his direction. We're very fortunate to have him here so he can work with these kids and bring out the best of them and increase the numbers in the band and the chorus. Also, Miss Radigan, who is our middle school music teacher, same thing with the 8th graders and the 7th graders and the 6th graders. Just, had a wonderful chorus, did everything great. We're very fortunate to have both of those music teachers, Ms. Radigan and Mr. McDowell. Thank you. Last month, I mentioned that in my comments, I mentioned that I hear in town a lot that people aren't happy with the school district. I asked them what's wrong. And they're very vague. But some of them say to me, well, if you go to South River High School, you can't get into a good college. And I'm over there and wait a minute. I know kids that are going to good colleges. These are sons and daughters of my friends, my acquaintances, my colleagues. So I asked Mr. Dorso to give me a breakdown of how many kids are going to what schools. Now, Rutgers University, we have 12 kids going there. Okay, first of all, that's their first choice because Rutgers, when I was a little kid, it was Rutgers. Now it's a major university in the United States. And there are kids from out of state. My step-granddaughter from Pennsylvania has applied to Rutgers because it's a great school and has a great reputation. So our 12 kids are going there because it's a great school. New Jersey Institute of Technology, we have 3 kids going there. And that is well known across the country as one of the primary schools for engineering and architecture. My stepson went there. He's an architect in Orange County, California right now. Middlesex, we have 56. The majority of those to whom I spoke said it's because of financial reasons, not academic reasons. So when you say, oh, you're going to Middlesex, Middlesex is a fine school. Montclair University, 4. Air Force Academy, how about that? A service academy. We must have a terrible school system. 2 kids are going to the Air Force Academy. New Jersey City University, which is a great school because it's my alma mater. We have 1 going there. We have 2 going to Penn State. You've heard of Penn State, I'm sure. Jacksonville University, Berkeley College, Arcadia University, Fairleigh Dickinson, we have 2, Centenary College 1, Kane University 3, Bloomfield College 1. Before you get bored, I want to jump to 2, Fordham. We have a student going to Fordham. How about that? From this high school, we have a student going to Fordham. And we have a student going to Stevens Institute of Technology, which is very prestigious school, very prestigious. And oh, look at this, Vassar. Boy, what a terrible college that is, And we're sending one of our kids there. And I could go on. I don't want to bore the people at home, but Fordham, there's one, as I mentioned. Stevens, Gettysburg College, Judge Berman. You remember Judge Berman with the case with the Tyler Clementi case?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
He's a graduate of South River High School, and he's also a graduate of Gettysburg College. So both schools turn out quality people. And I think I've made my points.
You missed one.
Who did I miss?
Bucknell University.
Bucknell. Did I miss Bucknell?
Mr. Susan, an alumni, is the head football coach.
He's the head football coach. Joe? Yeah, Joe Susan.
Joe.
Oh, there it is, Bucknell. We got 1 going to Bucknell. And we have, and I'm not gonna mention any names, which I think would be inappropriate, but we have someone going into our senior year that's being looked at by Penn State for a scholarship. Now, you know how Penn State is. They give anybody scholarships, don't they? So I just wanted to set the record straight. And I'm sure that my sarcasm is noted, not only by my colleagues here, but the audience. And I think we ought to start looking at our school as one of the better schools in Middlesex County. The proof is in the pudding, and there it is. I'm just tired of hearing this stuff that just isn't true. And please, ladies and gentlemen, do not believe what you read on Facebook. I read on Facebook about a particular issue this past week. And not one of those who complained bitterly, and some of them thought that the issue was a borough council issue. It's not, it's our issue. But, and they complained bitterly about the council and about the Board of Ed. Mrs. Zurcher did not receive one call from any of them to find out what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got a problem, don't put it on Facebook, please call. And we'll tell you what's going on. Okay? I'm sorry I rambled a little bit, but thank you, Mr. President.
Or, if I can add, or even come tonight to our meeting.
Oh, yeah.
You're always allowed into the public
Absolutely.
meetings.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, please.
Just quickly, first, project graduation, 2018. Would like to thank everyone for their support this past year. It was a beautiful night and went off without a hitch. Hopefully this coming year will be the same. Bolero Bowling did a fantastic job for us. They greeted us at the door with their district manager, their managers, their assistant managers. They provided security guards at the doors for us, so we didn't have to worry about anything. It was a wonderful night. Thank yous are going out shortly. Just as soon as I can wrap that up. Still looking for a couple more addresses. And also I want to mention National Night Out is August 7th. I believe up here at Denny Stadium. So,
No, it's here.
No, it's
school parking lot?
School parking lot.
Yeah, that
So,
moved.
project graduation 2019 will be there with the table. So if anybody wants to stop by, say hello, make a donation, feel free.
Mr. President, I'm sorry, I forgot an issue I wanted to bring up, okay? About 10 days ago, I met with, along with Debbie Boyle, who's the president of the South Plainfield Board of Ed. Debbie and I are New Jersey School Board representatives for the 18th District to the School Board's Legislative Committee. So Christopher Jones, who is the government relations employee, one of the government relations employees of the NJSBA, arranged for Debbie and I to meet with Assemblywoman Nancy Pinkin in her office in Edison. And the first thing we talked about was the park, which is on everybody's mind. And Nancy agrees with Governor Murphy that it has to be phased out. You can't just drop it in one. Because I understand, and Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand there's a federal law that says there has to be some sort of an assessment in every state. Okay?
Yes.
So what are we going to replace it with? Well, nobody did the research on that. So as soon as they do the research, but they're dropping that, and the requirement that teachers be evaluated on the park has dropped several percentage points. So that's going to change. Okay. Now, another thing we brought up, and this is where I was disappointed in two areas, was unfunded mandates. And the Assemblywoman's answer to Debbie was, well, we just can't spend any more money. And I'm over there like, what? Wait a minute, there's a law that says if it's mandated by the state, it has to be paid for by the state. And she said the same thing. We just can't spend any more money. So I said, well, we'll take the mandates away. You know, look at this. No, we have to have these things. And it's like, you gotta be kidding me. I wasn't really happy with that. And she wasn't happy with me either, but I don't care. The other thing I brought up was and as you know, you're tired of hearing it, I'm not against charter schools, but I am against the way they are funded. So Debbie Boyle and I both gave her the litany about charter school funding in our respective districts. And she said, well, that's because they're not following the law. And I said, wait a minute, what law? They're not following the law. The charter schools are not following the law. I said, well, you're a representative. Do something about it. You know, talk to the governor. Talk to the commissioner. Talk to somebody. Well, they're not following the law. So I said, what part of the law aren't they following? And she couldn't tell me because she didn't have it in front of her. Well, I have it in front of me. And I gave a copy tonight to Mrs. Zurcher and to Mr. Roberts. And I would ask, Dan, if you're, you probably know all this already, but just in case, if you would look at this and tell us where they are not following the law, then maybe I could, as a private citizen, petition the DOE. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that or not. As a board member, is that?
Well, you might have standing as a private citizen.
Okay.
That's something we need to talk about.
Okay, fine, that'll be fine. And, because something really has to be done about this. And every school in the county is complaining about this kind of thing. And so she wasn't helpful at all, and I must say I was very disappointed. And I told her, because you know me, I'm going to speak my mind. Try to be a gentleman about it, but I'm going to speak my mind. So anyway, the other thing, the last thing I want to bring up, because I know you want to go home and watch the Yankees. I've seen commercials. I saw them last year for K-12 online public school education.
Small one, yes.
So last year I called them up, and it's free. Free. I said, wait a minute. So I called them up last year. And they said, well, you know, the initial parts are free, but then if you want to get into the parts that give you the credits to graduate high school, then there's a tuition. So me, acting as a private citizen, filed a complaint with the New Jersey Department of Education. I should have told you this last year, but... So when I saw the commercial the first time a week or so ago, I called them up again. And it's press 1 if, you know, they want to know what state you're in. That's the first thing they ask, okay? And I said, New Jersey, and the automated system said, K-12 is not taking any New Jersey students at this time. Darn, I guess the DOE got after him. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, if you're considering K-12 for your child, if you live in New Jersey, they're not going to take you, okay? So don't be fooled by this. This was a scam to begin with, and probably still is, I don't know.
In your opinion.
In my opinion, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, absolutely. In my not so humble opinion, this could be, maybe, a scam. Now that's all I have.
But that's why we always have our attorney
Yes.
to make sure.
Anyone else? Not hearing none? We'll open the meeting to the public, comments or questions on any item whatsoever. Comments or questions, or limited to 10 minutes. Anyone from the audience? Last call. Hearing none, close the public portion of the meeting. We will entertain a motion for payment of bills.
The Finance Committee recommends all bills presented having been certified by the School Business Administrator for Secretary be paid as listed, and I so move.
Motion by Mrs. Quinn.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nielsen. Comment, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. The board will be going into closed session. The Open Public Meeting Act, the following subject to be discussed at closed session of the Board of Education, closed to the public, is personnel.
Right, and also school safety and security.
And anticipated that the item to be discussed in closed session can be disclosed to the public when they've been resolved. We hear a motion to that effect.
Nielsen.
Bush.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Mrs. Bush. Roll call.
Mr. Andre?
Yes.
Mr. Bezak? Yes. Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mrs. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. Cruz?
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen?
Yes.
Mr. Rosanno?
Yes.
Mrs. Urbanek?
Yes.
Mr. Wailuda?
Yes.